Hi guys, Nadia from 800 Tech. It's a wrap. We finally did our last episode of our webinar series, 5 Steps to Become Globally Competitive, the benchmarking phase. It was the last episode, it was an exciting episode, and it really helped to pull all the concepts that we've been sharing with you guys over the last month and a half together, from strategic all the way down to benchmarking, and explaining the impact and the importance of benchmarking. We started off by first of all just letting you all know what benchmarking was, which is really where companies are able to compare the performance of what's taking place within the environment based on key points. And these key elements will in the parameters of time, cost, and quality. Now, there are other parameters, as we discussed yesterday, that can also be measured, but most times those are the key elements that companies look at. We spoke extensively about benchmarking being umbrellaed under two components, whether it's an internal benchmarking process taking place within the organization or an external benchmarking process. When you look at the external benchmarking process, what we're talking about is where the company is really looking within itself from a process level, a department level, and then more so from an organizational level. When we speak about from a process level, what we meant was the company is examining how they performed currently or how they performed historically, depending on where they sit at that point in time, and how they are now performing, and doing that comparison to see whether they're now having time saved, whether they're having reduction in cost, and whether the quality of whatever that particular process is has been enhanced. And those parameters are used as well when you look at it from a departmental level, where what they are able to do is actually compare departments. So you can look at one department against another department whose efficiency is quite excellent. And what you seek to do is to really appreciate what they're doing, what methodologies is being employed in that department to allow for that high level of efficiency, productivity, cost savings, or all the buzzwords that we love to hear when we're running an organization. And looking at that, take those examples and see how we can have a best fit into a department that may not be running as well and as efficiently. So it's really a way of mimicking that business model in one department against the other business model to refine and re-engineer into a more productive and high-performing environment. We also spoke about looking at benchmarking from the external perspective. And the external perspective can be by you just looking locally at your local competitors. You can look regionally, and you can also look globally, especially as this webinar series speaks specifically about becoming globally competitive. And when you do this, you are looking at how am I performing against my other competitors? And you are examining from the perspective of if my competitors have excelled my performance, what is in their business model that is allowing for that service excellence? And this is where the whole benchmarking exercise becomes such a critical component, because as we know, we either want to meet or surpass our competitors because you really want to have your footprint within your sector. And through benchmarking, you can gain an appreciation and you can make those shifts that need to take place within your business model to achieve that goal. More importantly, it's a good way of really gaining that competitive edge, where you can look at organizations internationally, and we use the example, the pizza example, where there may be a process that a pizza company is using internationally that you find is so efficient and so effective and their top performance. You do the necessary due diligence. This is not an ad hoc process. This is completely data driven to seek to understand what is making them a high performer. And then you look at how your business model is flowing to fully understand the gaps that exist within your business model and what you need to do to fill those gaps. That's the planning phase of the whole benchmarking exercise. Where are the gaps? How do I fill the gaps? And once you have that understanding of where the gaps are, how to fill the gaps, then you get into that implementation component of the benchmarking phase, where you actually implement what you have recommended within the context of the benchmarking exercise. But I just want to leave you guys with this. There was a lot more that was discussed yesterday, but I just want to leave you all with this. If you want more information, a greater appreciation of how to go about benchmarking your organization, whether from the internal perspective or the external perspective, feel free to contact us at info@800-tech.com or call us at 223-8324. Remember, guys, one more thing, that this was the final episode. So there's going to be a lot more content coming out from 800 Tech, but on different topics. Thank you so much for staying with us for the last 2 months, for enjoying what we had to say, and from learning and gaining so much great knowledge from all of the guests that we had from the beginning of June to the midst of July. Thank you, guys. Have a great one. Goodbye.